Hey guys, it's Sarah. I'm going to be doing a little bit of multitasking tonight. Well, not multitasking. I'm filming 3 different videos tonight, and the reason I'm doing that is because it's almost the end of April and we have a crazy, crazy week coming up. The first 2, which is going to be this one here, which is my April wrap-up video, and then I'm going to have my May TBR video that I want to film, and then I'm also going to do a review on one of the books that I read this month. So I got to get those done now because this is actually kind of literally the only time I have. Like this week we have dance recital, which means we have pictures, and we have rehearsal, and we have the recital. So we are busy, busy, busy this week. Crazy. And also this weekend is National Scrapbooking Day, which is on Saturday, May 2nd. And I'm personally not going to be doing anything for it at the time because my husband is going to be home this weekend. He's away at military training right now, but he's going to have some time off this weekend to come home. So I'll be with him. But I do have stuff I have to get done this week to prepare for it because on my scrapbooking channel, I'm going to be participating in a couple of YouTube hops. So I've got to, get ready for that. Whew. And it's kind of like freezing cold outside. It's freezing cold and it's raining and it's windy, so I am snuggled up in my sweater and I have a mug of hot tea and I'm ready to talk about some books, so let's get to it. Okay, so for the month of April, I read 4, I'm gonna say and a half books. I'm in the middle of one right now. I'm almost halfway through it, so I will finish it up this week. I'm just not to a point right now where I can really talk about it, but I'll show you what I read. But I read 2 on my Kindle, and I read 2 library books. I'm in the middle of my 3rd library book. So the first book that I read in April is called A Bone to Pick, and it's by Charlaine Harris. And this book is the 2nd book in a series, and it is the Aurora Teagarden series. And this series follows the main character. Her name is Aurora Teagarden, and she's kind of like a true crime enthusiast, I guess you could say. In the first book, they had formed like a true crime, or I think they called it a real murders club or something, where they actually got together and talked about famous cases and analyzed things and things like that. So it kind of just follows her. There's nothing supernatural about it or anything like that. And it was okay. I read this because the prompt that it filled was a book that was turned into a TV movie or a TV show. And they actually just recently on the Hallmark Channel made a movie out of this particular book. And I knew I wanted to watch the movie, so I went ahead and read the book before it came on. I have not watched the movie yet. It's on my list to do soon. But yeah, I wanted to read it. And I also wanted to read it because I wanted to kind of give this series another shot to see if I wanted to continue with it. The first book I remember enjoying, and then I just never really had a burning desire to go back to it. So I wanted to give the 2nd book a try to see if I wanted to continue with it. And honestly, I don't think I'm going to. The books are fine. They're fine. But I think I just kind of want a little bit more from them. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna continue with this particular series. But Charlaine Harris, she also wrote the Sookie Stackhouse Vampire series, which is one of my favorite series of all time as well, and I really liked it. So I think coming off of that, it's kind of hard to get into another one that she wrote because it's completely different. So that's probably not fair to her. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to continue with this series. The book was fine. It was just fine. I think I gave it 3 stars. But yeah. The 2nd book that I read, I also read on my Kindle, and it is called White Knight by Jim Butcher, and this is part of these Dresden Files series. This is a fantasy series, and this book was number 9, and I really, really, really enjoyed it. I really like this series. This series follows a detective. His name is Harry Dresden, and he is a detective in Chicago, and he's also a wizard. So it's pretty interesting. They really go into a lot of fantasy type things. There's all sorts of there's vampires and obviously wizards and goblins and fairies and just all sorts of things. So I really enjoy it. He actually works closely with the police department in Chicago as well, and they kind of have like a little special secret force that does that investigates like supernatural things, but no one's really supposed to know about it. Most people don't actually even believe that it's real. So it's interesting because you kind of see that struggle. But every book he goes through some crazy elaborate fight and fighting for his life and saving people, and this one was no different. It was really good. If you have not picked up the Dresden Files series yet by Jim Butcher, I would highly, highly recommend it. It's really, really good. The prompt that this one fulfilled is a book with magic, because there is a lot of magic, because that's pretty much what Harry does. He does magic. The third book that I read in April is actually a book that I got from the library, and it is All the Bright Places by Jennifer Niven. And this is a young adult fiction, and this book was really, really, really good. This is the one that I'm actually going to review. I'm going to do a separate review video about this one because it really touched me, and it will be spoiler free, so I won't spoil anything. But the premise of this book basically is it follows two teenagers in high school, and they meet at the top of the bell tower at their high school, both with kind of the thoughts of maybe jumping off of it and committing suicide, and one of them talks the other one down, and that's how they meet. And so you kind of see their relationship develop, you kind of see struggles that they go through, you see things that are going through their mind and how they're reacting to different things, and it's really very, very good. I flew through this book. I think I read this book in like 3 or 4 days. So the prompt that this one fulfilled for my reading challenge is a book set in high school. And I really, really enjoyed this book. But I will be doing a separate review video, so I'll talk a little bit more in depth about how I felt about it, and it will be spoiler free. So if you haven't read it, you can still watch the video. But yeah, I'm going to do that soon. Really good. The fourth book that I read in the month of April is another library book, and it is the first Throne of Glass book in the Throne of Glass series, and this is written by Sarah J. Maas. And I heard about this on BookTube, and I have heard everybody just completely raving about it. Just holy crap. As soon as I saw someone say something, I was like, oh, that sounds interesting, and then everyone else was saying something. I'm like, oh, I have to read that book. Yes, I do. So I went to the library and I got it, and I read it, and it was really, really good. It took about maybe halfway through this book for me to really be able to not put it down. And I understand that because it's the beginning of a series, so the first half of this book is pretty much kind of, setting things up, and you're learning a little bit of a backstory and character developing and all that stuff. So I understand why it took a little bit to get into the action, but it was really good, and toward about halfway through I could not put it down because it got really, really good. So basically the premise of this book is it follows a girl named Selena Sardothian, and she is an assassin, and she is actually ended up getting put in prison, like a death camp prison, like she was expected to die there. Like she wasn't getting out. And one day the king's son, so a prince, comes and gets her out and gives her an ultimatum and says, if you will fight on my behalf in this big competition of, assassins and thieves and just kind of criminals, they were all going to be getting together and kind of competing in this competition, and the last person standing is going to be the king's assassin for 4 years, and then they will continue on and be free completely, like all of their crimes forgotten and forgiven, and they can go free. So she was given that ultimatum and she took it up. So this first book follows her and kind of in that competition, and things get dicey and people die, and she discovers things, and it's really good. I really, really liked it. And I have the second one sitting in my room right now from the library, and I'm going to be picking that up really, really soon because this was really good. I really, really enjoyed this one. And the prompt that this one fulfills for my reading challenge is a book based solely on its cover, because hello, she's freaking amazing. Look at her. She's gorgeous. Like, I couldn't stop staring at this cover. I loved it. That's not technically the reason that I picked this book up, because I heard about it from other people. But the second I saw the cover, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to know what happens in this book, because she's frickin' is what she is. Okay, and the half a book that I have picked up is another library book. I will be finishing it this week because I have to take it back this week. But I'm not quite halfway, I'm almost halfway through it. But it is Landline by Rainbow Rowell. And I have not read any Rainbow Rowell books yet. So I'm excited. I found this one at the library and I grabbed it quickly. But so far it's pretty good. I'm about 100 pages into it. It's 300 pages long, so I guess I'm about a third of the way through it. But so far it's interesting. It's reading pretty quickly. You know, she's contemporary, so she's it's not really difficult to follow. It's not super like in depth. But I've laughed out loud a few times so far. So basically what I'm getting so far from it is that it is about a woman named Georgie, and her marriage is she's realizing her marriage is not very happy. She's a comedic writer, so she is kind of married to her job right now, even though she has a husband and 2 kids. And I think they did this kind of separation where she stayed home to work and he took the kids to his parents' house for Christmas, and it's almost kind of becoming a little trial separation thing. But so far she found an old landline telephone in her old bedroom at her mom's house, and a couple times she's picked up the phone to call her husband, but she ends up talking to him, but it's from the past. Like it's past conversations or past things that have happened, and so she's kind of trying to figure out what the heck is going on and why she's able to talk to her husband from the past and not from the present. So that's how far I've gotten so far. So she still has no clue what's going on and why. But so far I'm enjoying it. I will push through and finish it this week because I have to take it back to the library. But I will be talking more about it in my May wrap-up video, because this will be, you know, I'm going to finish it this week, but I'll talk about this more in May when I have actually finished the book and I can tell you a little bit more and how I feel about it. But so far I'm enjoying it. And I don't know what prompt this fills because I have not looked. I'm just kind of picking stuff up and hoping it fills a prompt right now. So I'll let you know in May. All right, so that is what I read in the month of April. So 4.5 books. Technically 5 because I will finish this, but you know, whatever. Anyway, so that is it, and I'm going to be back really soon with my May TBR video. Hope you guys have a great day. Bye!